Hello everyone, my name is Cristian Negulescu. You know me for a lot of automation with Salesforce. We have with UiPath, Salesforce connector, ServiceNow connector, Jira connector, Confluence, and so on. Today we'll talk about Salesforce and we'll talk about different type of automation. So, you know me with the Salesforce connector. We have the Salesforce connector from UiPath Studio, and from UiPath Studio you will send all the comments to Salesforce. But one colleague of mine tell me that he wants another type of automation. So he wants just to call something from Salesforce and send parameters. And he don't want all the activities here on Salesforce to be on UiPath to be manageable by the automation team. He wants to program everything inside of Salesforce and from UiPath just to call that stuff. Yeah. And to be able to do this, you have to use one way to do this is to use APEXREST. So what's the idea with the APEXREST? You'll put some code inside of the Apex Salesforce. And here you have, for example, some code here that allow you to create account, delete account, get account, and so on. And you configure here everything inside of the Apex. And then from another platform or from UiPath, you will call that REST procedure. So let's understand what are the steps to do this. So you put everything, all the code inside of the Salesforce REST Apex, and you just call this code from different automation. Yeah. So you just code and send parameters. You don't call separate commands for REST and so on. Yeah. So you'll do some. Remember how it was on the database? It was stock procedures. The same idea. It's here with stock procedures that you have on the data. Good. So let's see step by step how we'll do this. So first, I'm inside of the Salesforce. I'm logged in on the Salesforce, and to be able to write this Apex code stock procedure, I will go here and I will go to this one, and I will write developer console. On the developer console, when I click on the developer console, the system will open this stuff. I go and say new file, and here on this file I copy paste everything that I find on the internet. So I copy paste here from the example of Apex REST code. I copy all this code here, and I will explain it a little. So if we go here on this one, you will see that I have a procedure for delete account, a procedure for get account, and you have here, you see the select that you can write the select to want ID, name, website, and so on, and you get the ID. And I have a procedure to add account, where in my case I will just the attributes of the procedure will be name, phone, and website. And here the system inside will create an account with putting inside of the object, then insert the object, and then this function will return the account ID. Yeah. So here I can modify this how I want, because here when I say account, I have to go and on this one, basically I have to put all the attributes of account and so on. So I can modify how I want, but the system admin will be able to modify the procedures, and the automation guys will just call these procedures from outside of the system. So basically, you limit the interaction of the automation guys. You limit the interaction with the automation guys with the system, and you will be able basically to avoid complex mistakes. Yeah. So you put all the code inside of the Apex REST API, and then outside you just call this. Let's test this. So first, you see here that mapping on this one, it's account. Yeah. So first I will test this from Workbench. So to be able to start Workbench, you will go here you write Workbench developer, then you will select your platform, you say that what is the version, and then After you select the platform, you'll let me show you from let's copy paste this one. So let me show you from beginning. I have another one open, and that's why he was able to. But oh, okay. So basically, you will select what is your platform and so on, and he will find your login. He will find your login, and you will be able to do this. Here, in my case, I will do a post. The post will be on service REST API account. This account is coming from that I put here URL mapping. Yeah, I put here URL mapping account. Okay, so this the system is called APEXREST, and here I have to provide him the body. So the body, it's what I have in my case if I want to create, because I have a post. You see, I have a get, I have a delete, and you see the body, it's name, phone, and website. Yeah, inside of the account, you see it's a name with uppercase name, phone, and website. So I have to provide the parameters. I have to create the JSON like this, this body, like this parameters of the function. Yeah. So that's why here I will select post. I put this one, and here let's say name YouTube company u.com. Yeah. So I execute this, and this will return me the ID. If we'll go to Salesforce here now, I will go to accounts. I will go to accounts, and on the accounts, let's say all accounts, and it was YouTube. Yeah. YouTube company. And you see YouTube company has this 0015 and FQAV. It's finished. And you see here that it's FQAV 0015. So that was my ID of the that was the ID of the account that was created. Yeah. So in this way, with Workbench, I was able to test my Apex procedure. So I go to Salesforce, I create my Apex procedure, and then I will test it from Workbench. Then, after I have all this stuff, I will go on UiPath and call this from UiPath. So what I have to do in UiPath to be able to call this, yeah? So I have an HTTP request. You know, to be able to have the HTTP request in UiPath, you have to be sure that you will install UiPath Web API activities, yeah? So you will drag and drop an HTTP request, and on this HTTP request, first you will go to authentication. You will say that you want to be authenticated. So login, service, authentication, and so on. If you are on the if you are on production, if you are on sandbox, here will be test, yeah. And then to be able to authenticate to Salesforce, you know from other movies, you have to provide him some parameters, and the parameters are like this: username, password, client ID, and grant type to be password. Here on the password, if you have a system with secure token, you have to put password plus secure token, yeah? If you have a system with the trusted IP, you don't need the secure token, but you need to set the trusted IP, and your IP should be on that list. You have videos on my so I will go and deserialize the JSON response. I will extract from the JSON. I will extract the instance because I need the instance and the authorization key, and then I will do an HTTP request again. And on this HTTP request, the endpoint will be the instance URL. Yeah. So instance URL, it's the instance that I get from, because you see there it was login.salesforce.com, and here there is the instance URL services Apex account. Yeah. So exactly like I put here with account, and exactly in the same way that I call it from Workbench. So on Workbench it was services APEXREST account. Yeah. So on UiPath Studio, I have this one, instance in service REST account. And then I will provide him a JSON. I will provide him on the header. I will provide him the authorization, which is beer REST JSON Apex access token. Yeah. So from the first response, I will get the access token. And here I have to build a JSON. And here is the build JSON. Let's put here YouTube test 9 o'clock. 9. YouTube test 9. It's okay. Let's put here another 9. And let's put here a 9. So this is the way how you build the JSON. To be able to build JSONs inside of my YouTube channel, you have here how to create JSON in VB.NET very fast. And on this one, on the description of the movie, you will find in the GitHub, you will find all the examples. So with the example of the JSON and example of the VB code, how to build this JSON, yeah? So you have here everything, you just copy paste and find your code to build JSON, yeah? So I build the JSON, and after I build the JSON, I will go back to UiPath here. So this is my JSON. And this will return me this will return me a result, a result, and this result basically it's my ID. Yeah. So in this way, using UiPath Studio, I just authenticate to Salesforce, call that procedure that will create. So call this procedure to create an account, pass the parameters to this procedure, do everything inside, and get the ID of the account. So let's run it from UiPath and let's see the result. So I run it from UiPath. It was here. It was YouTube test 9. We get the look, the end of the ID. It was UQAV. Okay. So let's search on on Salesforce. Let's search for YouTube again. YouTube test 9, you find here YouTube test 9. And on YouTube test 9, you will see that my ID of the account, it starts with 0015 and it's ending with AUQAV. Yeah. So in this way, with this logic, I was able to create an automation. All the code for the automation it's inside of the Apex Salesforce, and from outside, from UiPath Studio in our case, we just call this code and we will send the parameters to this code, and all the logic will be here inside of the Salesforce. Yeah. As usual, if you like my movies, please come and subscribe to my channel. Comment my movies and tell me what else you want to see inside of my movies. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe. Have a good one. Bye-bye.